So everyone always says you have to install a MaxxAir fan into your van build. I'm going to tell you guys why I did not do that. Hey guys, hope all is well. My name is Joe. I am a professional carpenter, home remodeler, home builder, contractor, whatever you want to call it. I've been doing it for almost 30 years. This here is my second van build, and I use a lot of the stuff I learned in the building industry and I put it to use in these van builds. I recently made a video about why I did not insulate this van too. You can go check that one. I'll try leaving it in the description. But not putting a MaxxAir fan kind of ties in with not insulating this van as well. I think the reason I'm here with you guys is when you go on the YouTube channels and you see a lot of people building vans, it's like an almost automatic process that they put in a MaxxAir fan. And personally, I don't always think that's a good idea. Of course, there's plenty of good reasons to install a MaxxAir fan, and we will get into some of those as well. But before you jump into your own van build and cut a big hole in a perfectly good roof, make sure you listen to this video. You might not have to do that. And here's the thing, guys. As a contractor, carpenter for all these years, I worked on a ton of houses, I worked on a ton of roofs, and I fixed a lot of leaks. And without a doubt, the number one source of a leak is cutting a hole in a flat roof, especially a metal flat roof. Actually, for most of my remodeling building career, I would avoid anything coming out of a flat roof at all costs. Because here's the thing, it will leak eventually. So for me, that's probably the number one reason why I would not install a MaxxAir fan, is because it's probably gonna leak. Who knows when, but it will leak. Not only is this ProMaster roof flat, it also has these ribs built into the roof. So not only do you have the flatness of this roof, you have these ribs to deal with as well, which makes it extra hard for sealing a vent to the roof. Now I've been cruising across the country in this van, back and forth, doing a ton of camping for 3 years now. So we've definitely put this to the test. We have some real world experience here with not having a MaxxAir fan. So in my eyes, I don't think everybody should just jump to the conclusion that they need a MaxxAir fan into their van, at least without hearing about the downsides first. Obviously, you cut a hole in here, you might get a leak. I don't know if any of you guys watch Van City Van Life with Chrome. He's got a brand new Mercedes Sprinter, and they cut a hole in the roof and installed like a skylight or something like that. On his very first trip out, in his very first rain with the new van, with the new skylight cut in, it was leaking like a sieve. Brand new install, installed by a professional van builder. So that's another downside, guys. If you are not a professional and you're just a run-of-the-mill do-it-yourselfer and you think you want to tackle a project like this is not easy. You can go onto YouTube's, see all the do-it-yourselfers cutting holes. They have no idea what they're doing. They're trying to seal this thing, just gobbing it with all kinds of sealant and stuff like that, and praying that it doesn't leak. And I got news for them, it's probably gonna leak. Another downside, obviously you don't want to be cutting any of the structural stuff out of the roof. But even removing some of these ribs, that kind of weakens the roof a little bit itself. And here's the thing, guys, once you start cutting a hole in your perfectly good roof, you cannot turn back. You gotta be in it to win it. Of course, there are many positives of having a MaxxAir fan. Before I jump into that, I do want to say, without this insulation and without a MaxxAir fan, I do try staying and traveling on temperatures between 30 degrees and 90 degrees Fahrenheit. And so far, after the 3 years with this current setup, no insulation, no fan, we have been perfectly comfortable in here with basically zero condensation issues. So the positives of a MaxxAir fan, I would say it's definitely recommended if you are staying in more extreme temperatures, especially hotter temperatures. If you're a full-time van lifer, which I am not, a full-timer might benefit from having a MaxxAir fan. I'd maybe say if you're cooking a whole lot in here, but we cook a decent amount in here, and we've never had any issues without a MaxxAir fan, so that's an option you can think about at least. Also, something I just found out on the internet, who knows how true it is, or wait, isn't everything on the internet true? Anyway, they mentioned something about having a MaxxAir fan in your van build might actually increase the value of your build. Now, I'm not so sure about that. especially if it's leaking. Then it's probably going to decrease the value of your van build. But if you're spending any amount of time in a tin can like this, you definitely need some ventilation and you need some air movement to feel comfortable. A MaxxAir fan is great. It can suck air in, suck it back out. It's nice to have another vent somewhere else to pull the air in and out. But here's how we do it without a MaxxAir fan. The first thing we did is we installed some camper windows into this van. They have screens in them, and we installed 3 windows. One nice side, big window here in the driver's side, and then we did 2 windows on either side of the bed. You get a nice cross breeze through there. Of course, when we're chilling at the campsite, we got the windows open, bug screen, a lot of air flying in through there. We'll always have the side door open. Again, bug screens here, a lot of air can come in there. And I have screens for both of these cab windows, so we roll them down there, get more ventilation yet. We got fans. This is an electric fan. I got another big battery fan that is not in here, another USB fan, another fan over there. So we got all kinds of air coming in here and moving around. Again, never any issues, and that's generally staying in temperatures between 30 and 90. We did recently start camping in warmer temperatures, and for that I did install a portable air conditioner into this van. I also made a video about that whole setup. I'll try putting it in the description if I remember, otherwise you can go check it out. And of course, if possible, I recommend finding a shady spot in the summertime. That definitely helps big time. When the sun starts cranking on this metal, it can heat up pretty quickly. So shade is your friend. Bottom line, I think a MaxxAir fan can be great, but I don't think it's always necessary. Don't be jumping in, cutting a hole in your roof just because you've seen it on YouTube. Make sure you do a little research and make sure it is right for your build. Anyway guys, that is it. Let me know in the comments any positives you have had with a MaxxAir fan or any negatives you might have had. Also, let me know guys, are you digging this van content? I gotta say guys, I love my little ProMaster van here. It's been a freaking blast. That's it guys, enjoy your own build, enjoy your travels, enjoy your camping, but I got stuff to do. I'm sure you do too. We will see you next time. Take care.